time. We have the players arriving here at the ground around about 10 o'clock, Bruce, so I would suggest it is going to be a pandemonium when they come here and the guys can talk to their heroes and take all those
mighty memories. Thanks for that, Ian. Ian Hislop is having a wow of a time at Victoria Park, so we'll be going back there, and of course at 9:30 for the grand final roundup. Scotty Palmer will be joining us. There's been a lot of reports today. We'll bring you right up to date.
Congratulations to the Collingwood Magpies. After 32 years, worthy winners of the 1990 AFL Grand Final.
We'll be crossing out to Collingwood, where there's the biggest party going on in Melbourne tonight imaginable. Something like 30,000 people at Victoria Park. It will grow as the night goes on. We expect to be talking to the top players, not only at Collingwood, also at Essendon. Let's go out and join the Essendon players firstly tonight, and Michael Roberts is with them. And Michael, I just wonder if the Essendon players are in the mood tonight, the fact that Collingwood has won, or are they very, very disappointed?
Well, they are very dejected. I've got 600 supporters here with the Essendon players, and speaking with Tim Watson and Terry Danaher, they are dejected. You know, full congratulations to Collingwood, but they're going to learn from today, and you know, they're going to march on for next year for sure, Bruce.
Michael, I guess it's a little early to talk about retirements, but they've got a couple of players that are getting long in the tooth. Has there been any talk that maybe Simon Madden might hang them up after today?
Yeah, well, there's a few players long in the tooth, and they looked absolutely mentally and physically exhausted when they walked in. Obviously, after a tough grand final, a lot of them will sit down and really assess their situation. I know Terry Danaher is going to do that. He's going to have a couple of beers tonight and you know, really have a good look at himself about next year.
There was a lot of ill feeling between the two teams, particularly at half-time when they went down the race. Is that ill feeling carried on through tonight?
Yeah, well, there was a big grand final, a lot of tension, and things happened at quarter time and at half time. But you know, Collingwood were the best side on the day. Speaking with a lot of the players, Kevin Sheedy's just walked in. I know that he's disappointed, but no ill feelings. Collingwood won, and that's it till next year. Speaking of feelings, Michael, is there a feeling that Kevin and the selectors might have got it wrong by playing Somerville and unbalancing the side? Yeah, well, speaking to a lot of the, you know, the main supporters, they felt that the side was a little unbalanced, and also that Collingwood had good running players. They couldn't stop them, but Collingwood, with a great effort today, really excelled. And yeah, there probably was a problem being too high, too tall. We just saw Greg Anderson come in a moment ago. We're looking at Gary O'Donnell and some of the other players, Darren Buick. Anderson was a body blow for them, wasn't he? Yes, he was. You know, they all had jobs to do. A lot of those players got tagged, and Sheedy actually tagged a hell of a lot of other players as well. But, you know, it's all dead and buried now, and they're here. They're going to celebrate. As I said, a couple of beers. It's going to be a very quiet night, and a lot of the players don't realise that 1990 has gone, and it'll probably hit them in a couple of days' time. And just finally, we will be coming back to you a little later tonight, Michael, but many people up there tonight and supporting Essendon? Yes, there are some noticeable people. Andrew Peacock, the #1 ticket holder of Essendon's here, and Ross Oakley from the AFL. I think it's his first of 3 functions tonight. They're here drowning their sorrows with the Essendon Football Club. Well, Michael, there are 2 players we'd love to talk to a little later on, Terry Danaher and also Tim Watson. So let's see if you can find them for us, and we might have them on a little later on. Thank you, Bruce. Michael Roberts, who's with Essendon. OK, let's leave the Essendon players because we're about to celebrate with Collingwood at Victoria Park. Ian Hislop's been there, and Ian, we believe that there's something like 30,000 people. I know you've been to a couple of Super Bowl celebrations in the United States. How does this one compare?
Well, they promised a big one, Bruce, and they've certainly delivered. I would say there's got to be more than 30,000 people here. I've been to the Chicago Bears getting the Super Bowl. I've been to San Francisco when the Super Bowl was fought out there, and I'm telling you now, this has got to be certainly a lot louder, and they are going to have one hell of a party here tonight, Bruce. We have the situation now where the crowd has spilled onto the oval, as you can see. They've got a rock event going, and the stands are absolutely chock-a-block. As far as the fans are concerned, they've been having the odd beer. The streets have been full. All roads leading to the park tonight, they've gone absolutely crazy. We've seen the streets erupt in a spontaneous eruption of enthusiasm as the Collingwood supporters finally realise their dream. The 32 years of disappointment has ended, the drought has broken, and now we see a situation where they are some very, very happy people here tonight. As you'll hear by the noise behind me, it's going to be very hard to talk. Light shower starting in here. The rain is coming down, but I can tell you, Bruce, that won't dampen the enthusiasm of the Collingwood fans as they tell us it's Collingwood forever and it will always be Collingwood, and they are incredibly enthusiastic. It'll be going on for some time, and I can assure you that we'll be seeing this one turn into a giant hangover, but I don't think too many people are going to be upset about that.
Ian, I'm not sure if you can hear me because there is a deafening roar behind you, but what must be wonderful there tonight is the mix, the people that saw that premiership in 1958 and the people that have never seen Collingwood win yet.
Well, absolutely. I think that's the whole point. The 32 years of disappointment are down the drain now. They're in a situation to reflect. I've spoken to a couple of the old-timers, a couple of those that were around in the old days, and it's just unbelievable what this win has done for them. The enthusiasm, the young ones here, same deal. They weren't around then, but they know that this is a momentous occasion. It's a bit of history happening for Collingwood, and I think just look at the collective reaction of those, and you realise that there's a little bit of history that's taking place here tonight, Bruce, and it's going to be taking place all night, all morning, and you'll see a few more beers thrown over the reporters that come here, but I'm sure they're going to have a good time anyway.
Ian, thanks very much. We'll be going back to you. The players are expected at Victoria Park in the next hour, and we'll be keeping you up to date with the biggest party that's taken place in Melbourne for a long, long time. Welcome, Scotty.
Great, Bruce. What a great day.
It has been a great day. Just in news terms and footy terms, how does this rate over the years with some of the other big stories that have happened?
Well, in football, I think it's the monumental exercise of all time. We've had people out in the streets, at the ground, in the pubs, the clubs, since breakfast time this morning. They're still out there chasing people, chasing the news, talking to the old players and the new players, but just getting the feeling that Melbourne wanted this to happen.
And did you get the feeling, I got the feeling all day that it was going to happen, didn't you?
Alan McAllister said, one of his first words after this thing, all those people have hated us for years, he said. I think they're pretty pleased now that it's finally over and we've won the match.
That was a feeling I got at the MCG today. I think it was at about the 21-minute mark. I mean, you told me a little earlier. Do you know exactly when it was?
21 minutes, 5 seconds.
When we really knew that they were home.
The chant started from the top decks, spread to the bottom decks, and it just went on. Collingwood, Collingwood, Collingwood. But then the final siren rang, there was a roar, and then there was an eerie silence swept the place. I know why. It was all over. The relief was there for so many people, so many Collingwood people that have been the butt of everyone's jokes since 1958. I've been the butt of them too, as a sort of a loyal but sort of quiet magpie man. You know, you've copped it for years.
So you're not quiet tonight, Scotty.
And when I walked out of the ground, today, and everyone hugging each other, and just there was utter relief on their faces.
Yes, it was a wonderful feeling. I walked back from the ground and everybody was just so happy. And people can get aggro after a grand final.
I only found one aggro one. A young, or rather, not too young, lady from Essendon who said, you know, you blokes never gave us a go.
Well, talking about aggro, there are a few players that are aggro there today. Tell us about all these reports with that huge brawl at the end of the first quarter.
Well, look, we were surprised when we discovered afterward that 6 players are on report from 13 charges, so it's going to be a massive night at the tribunal. Buick, Danaher, Kickett and Vanderhaar from Essendon.
Terry Danaher,
and Kelly and Gavin Brown from Collingwood. And of course there's that other little incident that took place just at that sort of time as well.
I saw that with 2 officials, one from Essendon and one from Collingwood, were going hammer and tongs.
Well, yes, they looked to be going hammer and tongs. Well, one looked to me like probably Graham Allen, the football manager. He resembled him anyway. And I saw a fellow that looked like, say, Peter Power from Essendon, sort of somewhere in there with Bernie Quinlan. They were in it too. And someone spoke to Peter Power after the match, and a bit hard to talk. He had his fat lip. So I don't know what happened, Bruce.
No,
I'm not saying anything.
We don't want to know. Just on a more serious note for a moment, there was one person I thought about after the game, and that was Jack Hamilton. How he would have loved to have been there.
Well, we saw his son, John, down on the ground presenting the cup and that, and I actually got up through the tunnels, and the tunnels were empty. No one had left their seats after the siren. It was an amazing thing. I thought I'd be struggling to get there. I just ran along up the stairs to the area where Joan Hamilton was, and she was being comforted by Jack's former secretary, Brenda Testro, and she was just laying on Brenda, and they were just enjoying the moment, but she was quite emotional. And she said the boys, they just had to do it today, and that's what happened. And everyone was sort of so complimentary to her, and of course Jack was a loved character in football. And it was just one of those moments. And of course then sort of Paul Keating came out of the super box area, of course, the AFL, the big shots up there. And
be careful.
And he said, you run scared in elections, and he said, you run scared in grand finals, and I was scared right to the end of this one. But he said it was absolutely fantastic to see this. That was his first grand final.
Now, speaking of fantastic, Darren Mullane walked off the ground today and he had a bit of a bulge in his belly. What was he trying to hide?
Well, he chased it and he got it. He picked up the ball and he shoved it up his Guernsey. And the umpires looked at him and were just about to say, he said, you are not getting this ball from me. And when Darren says that in the mood he was in, you don't take the ball off him.
So where's the footy going to be?
It's going to be in his home on the mantelpiece at Noble Park for the rest of his days, he said. I can just imagine anyone trying to get that off Pants Mullane tonight.
Now, Scotty, I know you've got I won't go into that one. I know you've got a lot more stories to tell us. You've got to tell us on Sports World tomorrow, but tomorrow morning with the Sunday Sun, there's a real treat for buyers, isn't there?
The people were clamouring at the Herald office tonight to get the poster. We have got a sensational poster tomorrow for the Collingwood grand final win. It's free with your Sunday Sun. It shows Lee and Tony Shaw in the cup. At last, it says, and we've done a terrific job on the poster because we feel that it's a day that deserves a good effort, and we've got a great paper tomorrow. It's just everything you want.
Scotty, well done. I'm going to go and buy mine when I leave here tonight. Join us tomorrow on Sports World.
Good on you, Bruce.
Thanks very much. Just keep punching.
Oh, we'll keep punching tonight.
Scotty Palmer, like we haven't seen him for a long, long time. Let's now go to where the Essendon players are, and Michael Roberts has caught up with their captain, Tim Watson.
Well, Tim, obviously very disappointing to finish the year like this.
It is disappointing. I guess when you finish on top of the ladder, you have pretty high expectations of a good final series, and we're sort of bundled out, and in the one big day of the year.
A lot of people don't realise how tough it is to make a premiership and then lose. How tough was it out there today?
Oh, it was pretty tough. I think that you expect a pretty hot contest in the grand final, and Collingwood seemed to play a better brand of football than we did. They possessed the ball better than we did, and I think it didn't feel like it was. The 8-goal loss, it didn't seem that big a difference to me. Playing the game, it felt pretty tight, but then we've gone down by 8 goals, which is a big margin.
You've been in winning grand finals before, back-to-back, 84, 85, and now this. What's the difference?
It's an enormous difference. I guess it's going to be a good test for us to come out of this. I think in 83 it propelled us on to winning in 84 and 85, and now I guess we're not really thinking about regrouping yet, but that's what we're going to have to do over the summer, and maybe work a bit harder. We can't be satisfied with our performance today, so we're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Well, Terry, it must hurt to come so far and miss out like this.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing, I guess, but you got to take your hats off to Collingwood. They performed very well throughout the finals, and we knew it was going to be a hard game, but I was quite confident, or we were quite confident, we could win the game. There's no question about that, but they just played very well as a team, collectively, and congratulations to them.
A lot of players have walked in mentally and physically exhausted tonight, and so they should be after a grand final. But has it hit home base yet that 1990's gone?
Oh, well, I think you got that. It's very disappointing, but the hardest part is, the next few days. I think you sit down and you go back through it in your mind, and it's particularly when you get down to your own individual game. Areas where if I'd done this and so forth, that's where it does get hard. You get disappointed.
Essendon's a strong club tonight. You've got a big supporter group here. It must be a little pleasing for the players to sort of sit round with supporters like this.
Oh, it's tremendous. It's great. As you say, we're a very homely sort of club, and supporters are very strong, and I just can't help feeling a bit sorry for them today. I felt, you know, we should have went a lot better than what we did, but I guess, you know, you can only play as well as what the opposition lets you to a certain extent. But, you know, but they are great supporters, and I hope we can sort of repay them next year.
Michael Roberts talking to Terry Danaher, who was the captain in 84 and 85 when Essendon won their last 2 premierships, and a little earlier to the current captain, Tim Watson. But as I indicated a few minutes ago, the Collingwood players have left the Southern Cross and they're on their way to Victoria Park. These scenes a short time ago, and there is the very first AFL Premiership Cup. What a great day it's been for Collingwood. What a great moment. There's Mickey McGuan getting into the bus with his mates and wives and girlfriends. Here's Lee Matthews.
I think's the word. Euphoric.
Yes, euphoric, Lee Matthews, and the scenes that he is going to see when he gets to Victoria Park, along with the players, the wives and the girlfriends. There's Tony Francis and Scott Russell, Gavin Krasiska and Michael Gayfer with the cup, will really lift them, because there are more than 30,000 people at Victoria Park just waiting for these players. Shane Morwood there about to get into the bus, who played a great game again across halfback today. What a tremendous season he's had. They even had a police escort, the Collingwood players, tonight, and boy do they deserve it. A tremendous night for them, a tremendous day for the club, and they've really come to the fore with this huge victory over Essendon today, their first win in 32 years. That has been the butt of a lot of jokes in Melbourne for the last 3 decades, and those jokes are now all thrown out the window. 2 cheerleaders that have been with Collingwood for a long time are Rona McGoldrick and Ren Ringwood, and they talked to Ian Hislop at Victoria Park about all the jokes they've had to put up with in the last 30 years.
The only thing that really hurts is the knocking and what they've called our side and club over the years,
Well,
you
they
know?
ridicule you.
Oh,
Well,
they
yes,
tried
they
it. Yeah, my
I mean,
word.
the collywobbles come into it. I mean, our boys were very unlucky in a lot of flags. You know, but no one seems to give Collingwood credit
Any
for
credit.
anything.
They hate us.
Okay, you're the oldest members of the cheer squad.
Yeah.
You reckon you might be able to hold your head up high from now?
No,
Yeah,
very
we-
well.
we
got
hold our
32
head up
years
high
to pay
anyway.
back to people.
Don't we? We hold our head up high every
We love
Saturday.
this club. They're like a family to us.
And our religion.
Are you going to continue doing this, eh?
No,
Very
my
word.
word.
My blood's black and
We
white,
don't
baby.
care. We'll push each other up in wheelchairs. We'll be there.
History
my
made
word.
today?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, unbelievable. I still can't believe it.
I can,
Oh,
because we've strived for so long for
Yeah.
this premiership.
scream
long.
for it.
10
Scream.
times lucky.
I mean, you look back, 64, 66,
66,
1
1
point,
point.
64, you know, we got beaten the last
Oh.
kick of the game. You know, it's...
And don't forget the night game where we did win and no one heard the siren.
Could be a very late night, girls.
I think
It
it's going to
might
be
be
a
a late
beautiful
night.
weekend.
Yes.
I'm sure you're right. Ren and Rona, who are just waiting for the Collingwood players to join them and 30,000 others, and we'll be going back to Victoria Park very shortly, where there's one big party going on, but there's a bit of a wait going on with the Essendon players, as you can imagine, and the chairman of the AFL Commission, Ross Oakley, is there, and he's with Michael Roberts.
Well, Ross, it does hurt to lose a grand final, but Essendon have taken it very well.
Yes, I thought Kevin Sheedy and Ron Evans handled it very well tonight. I think they gained tremendous plaudits for the way that they spoke and treated the whole occasion.
As an onlooker, it's a big day. How did you view the day today?
Well, it was a very emotional day, actually. I've never really felt the way that I did after the siren today. Out on the ground to hear 85,000 people, I think that's how many there were singing the Collingwood theme song. Amazing experience.
It's pretty hard to swallow defeat. What now? You review the year and...
I think so. I think that when you look at football, if you've got in a guy like myself that have been in it for 25 years, you've got to take out of it from what you can and restructure where you think we've gone wrong on the day. Not be silly about it. You know, be just reasonably analytical about analyse what we've got to do. And when I spoke to our supporters tonight, I said we've got to really hit the commando trail and get stronger within ourselves as well as physically. And I think that we've got a chance to still be a very good club in the next couple of years.
No doubt about that, Kevin Sheedy. Thanks to Michael Roberts, who's caught up with the Essendon players and the officials at their wake tonight following their defeat to Collingwood today. 30,000 people down there, anxious to see them. Ian Hislop's still down there. And Ian, there must be incredible scenes there at the moment as the players have finally arrived.
Well, Bruce, quite remarkable scenes. We've just witnessed more than 30,000 died-hard fanatical supporters looking at the arrival. They've been paying homage to their heroes, the guys that have taken the team back into some degree of respectability, who've washed out 32 years of indignity, 32 years of ridicule at the hands of all those other football teams that said the Maggies were no good. Well, the Maggies proved today that they are good, and you can see them there now. The big boys are arriving at the ground. They were mobbed when they arrived by thousands of eager supporters willing to give them a pat on the back to show them just what they thought of their performance today. They really are the heroes of a very large footballing population. They were absolutely crazy.
Ian, I was about to ask, what's the mood been like down there tonight? Has it been one of pure celebration?
Oh, absolutely, Bruce. There's no other word for it. There's been very few incidents. As far as the crowd are concerned, they're absolutely overjoyed. I guess you know all the lovely adjectives: ecstatic, euphoric, and they certainly have been a very well-controlled crowd. They're a crowd that have been doing a lot of drinking, but they're a crowd that are obviously very proud of what their football team has done. So all in all, Bruce, it's been a remarkable performance on the part of the players and also the fans who've been remarkably well behaved and just very excited about their football team doing what it did today.
Well, Ian, we're seeing some quite remarkable scenes here on the television at the moment. It's a night that everyone will remember. We're getting up towards midnight. This could go on forever.
Well, it certainly could. You've just seen them climbing up goalposts. I would suggest to you that the fans will be here till the very, very early hours of the morning. It doesn't look like it's winding down. We've got the rock band still pouting it out, and we've got so many people here, Bruce, that are just absolutely overjoyed with their football team. I would say that they'll be all describing tomorrow morning the best day of their life.
No doubt about that. Ian, thank you very much for your contribution tonight. We've really enjoyed it. It's been a marathon effort, and we do thank you. Go and have a drink. You've deserved it, mate.
Thank you so much, mate. See you later.
Ian Hislop, and don't forget 7 Nightly News tomorrow night, and we'll have all those scenes and plenty more. Ian Hislop from 7 Nightly News bringing us all the action, as Michael Roberts did earlier on tonight, from the Essendon Wake. Well, don't forget that famous WEG Premier poster, the first in the AFL, and it's available from 9 o'clock at the Herald Sun front counter on Monday. Just $1. All proceeds going to the Royal Children's Hospital. Also, this T-shirt, I'm sure they're going to just about sell out of these. It's available from Target, the Premiers for 1990 AFL Grand Final Collingwood, and they certainly have deserved that today. Sports World tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Hope you can join us then. As I said earlier today, football's most famous journey reached its conclusion today when Matthew Shaw and the Collingwood men made it right to the top of the mountain. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a wonderful day for football. Well done, Collingwood.